4 15-minute quarters. Here we go. Chris Flynn, Bill Durgel on the face-off. Flynn of Penn, one of the best in the country. And you can see the Gait brothers trying to come up with the ball, but it is Flynn of Penn, and the Quakers have the opening possession. Now here's Flynn feeding off on the right as Penn looks to score quickly, but they throw it away.
Bill, I was looking for a trick play there by Penn. Penn really comes to play. They are a very strategy-oriented team. The last meeting against these two fine clubs was a lot closer than the score indicated. Look at the numbers, not the score 14-6, but look at the other numbers. Make it tough to clear.
Let's see how Gary Gait performs here in the semifinals as he dishes it off quickly to Roos on the left side. He's a transfer from Rutgers playing here for the Orangemen. Number 3, Brad Roos on the left wing. Has a step on his man, moving in, feeds in front to Gait, and he fanned on the shot, and it's picked up in front by brother Gary Gait.
And Gait had 3 players on him. That was Gary in front, had 3 Penn players converging on him to knock the ball out.
Here's Greg Burns of Syracuse behind the cage. He's an attack man, a sophomore from right here in Syracuse. Feeds it to Jim Egan behind the cage.
You'll see Penn in a matchup zone. They're basically playing a zone, but they'll give a lot of pressure to the player who has the ball. See, he'll go out and play him, but basically the players behind him are playing in a zone.
Once again, Roos dishes it off. Paul Gait winds up, moves in, shoots, and the deflection was made in front by the goaltender Canaris, who got a peek. 2 minutes gone by, no score, first quarter. Syracuse in the home white jerseys here. Here's John Zilberti behind the cage. He's a crafty feeder. Feeds in front to Gary Gait. Crossfield pass to brother Paul, moves in, shoots, and the save was made once again by Canaris. He's made 2 saves early in a crease violation. And so far, the Penn goaltending has been superb.
Well, Syracuse has had their chances, and the defense for Penn playing very poised with the big game coming from Canaris so far.
Here's John Zilberti spinning with his back to the cage for Syracuse. He's a nifty feeder on the left side. Fires it behind the cage to Jim Egan out of Yorktown High School in New York State. And now over to Brad Roos, number 3. You can see the way they're playing a zone. Here's Zilberti. Back again to Egan.
Syracuse works against this zone pretty much like you would work an extra man play. They spread it out, work the perimeter, and then look for maybe a feed inside.
Here's Roos once again. He's one-on-one with Mahoney. Spins on him. Mahoney stays right with him and strips the ball. Pennsylvania's playing well early, Lee. Fine defensive play by Tim Mahoney out of Chatham, New Jersey to steal the ball, and he has it.
Well, Syracuse has to play perfect, or Penn does, in order to beat the Syracuse team. So far, they're doing everything right.
Here's Pennsylvania in transition. Sheets in front. They score! And Pennsylvania takes the 1-0 lead on a goal by Doherty. And Penn has done exactly what this Quaker team had to do. That is stop Syracuse early and try to take some momentum away from this Syracuse ball club as Sean Doherty out of Garden City bounces it home by Palem.
Doherty wide open there to the goalie's right, and Palem's a little bit untested this year. The other game this season, so too early to tell, but so far definitely things going all Penn's way.
They've held Syracuse off the board for 6.5 minutes in this first quarter. Here's Greg Burns behind the cage for Syracuse. Now to Zilberti. Outside to Gary Gait. Crossfield to brother Paul.
Bill, they're packed in that zone again, that matchup zone. And what it forces you to do is it forces Syracuse to move the ball 4 or 5 times. It makes you have 4 or 5 accurate passes, and it counts on you eventually making a mistake.
Here's Roos moving in. Makes a shot. Bumped off the ball, still has it. Fine stick handling by Roos, but Penn will just not let him get in close for a shot.
Yeah, he can stay out there, he can take a shot, and Flynn will just seal him off.
Here's a drop ball by Paul Gait, gets it back up, moving in, and dropped it again. That's twice he's dropped it here today.
Well, that was checked out. It was a great check by number 32, Mark Stouffer, this high-powered offense.
Chris Flynn double-teamed, lost the ball. Syracuse in transition, Scare Mazzino pummeled as he feeds it across the midfield, stripe to Gait. Over to Schluter, moving in, has a shot, and it's blocked again. That one may have gotten a piece of the leg of Kunkel. And Paul Gait has it on the left side for the number 1 seeded and undefeated Orangemen. Here's Zilberti behind the cage. He's a nifty feeder. There's a low pass to Brooke Chase on the left.
Again, this is that high-powered offense of midfield. Ball way overthrown. But Gary Gait, number 22, Paul Gait, number 19.
Here's an opportunity now for the Quakers. On the right side is Mahoney moving in. Tried to feed it in front of the ball, was tipped away. Fine defensive play by the Orangemen, and Stouffer has it on the far side for Syracuse.
Pat McCabe did a nice job of knocking that down for Syracuse. They are really an aggressive defensive team. Penn doing a good job of keeping the action going in transition.
Paul Gait on the run, beat his man, moves in, winds up, feeds Zilberti behind.
I'm shocked that he didn't shoot right there. That's a kind of opportunity that Paul loves to shoot in.
Delayed call coming up here against Penn. The soon as the ball hits the turf or it exits the box, or if the shot is taken. Ball hits the turf, whistle blow. Along with the first attack. Here's Peter Smith, number 9, their leading goal scorer on the season with the left-hand cradle into the box. Double team. Good pick and roll. Here's a shot and a goal for Penn. Beautiful move by John Lyons as Sheets came around, fed Lyons, and he banged it in by Palem, and Pennsylvania leads it 2-0.
Well, Palem's finally getting his test today. Penn very controlled, and watch how they set this up. Sheets to Lyons. They come in, push the tempo, a nice shot low, Penn.
11th goal of the year for Lyons, coming at 13:05 of the opening period. It is 2-0 Pennsylvania.
Zone matchup defense that does it. The Gaits are most dangerous when they're moving, and the zone defense keeps them from moving.
Here's Roos. He brings the crowd to his feet as he races into the goal area on the right side. Behind the cage, the Jim Egan, the sophomore. Attack man out in front to Gait. He shoots and scores. Paul Gait sinks it in, and it is a 2-1 game as Syracuse scores with 31 seconds to play. Paul Gait scores his 44th goal of the season.
Well, you know they're going to score. Paul Gait, Gary Gait, they both have these rocket shots from out front. They're left-handed. They love the left-handed shot. Watch this. Rocket shot, and it hit the stick of Canaris, who went up high, but this is what they are so dangerous for, the outside shot as well as the move inside. Look at that. Crack the left hand right by Canaris, who just had time to get his stick on the ball to knock it up, not high enough as it went underneath the pipe. Tremendous outside shooters, both Paul and Gary.
Whistle blows. Flynn wins the face-off easily for Penn, and Gait wraps him and knocks into the ball. Stoker picks it up for Syracuse, and then he loses it. It's been one of those games. Both teams have had a hard time controlling the ball as it has been a physical type of game. Here's an opportunity in front for the Quakers. A shot, and Palem got a piece of it. And it rolls into the crease, and Palem falls on it. And averaging over 18 goals a game, but they have only one, and we have 10 minutes to play in the half. Here's Pennsylvania's Chris Flynn once again. Good quickness. Drop the ball. Scarmazzino corrals it for Syracuse. Shovels it over to Schluter on the left. Here's Schluter on the run. Syracuse with a fast break right to left. Schluter winding up. Hard for him to shoot with that long stick. He'll get rid of the ball and feed Zegan to Zilberti even with the cage on the left. Now to Gary Gait behind. Canaris stuffed it in! Tremendous goal! Gary Gait leaped over the cage and stuffed it in. And Syracuse has tied the game at 2-2 on a tremendous goal by Gary Gait. He stuffed it in from behind the cage, and we are even 2-2.
Bill, we saw this in the warm-ups. He's been working on this all week. This play was something he worked on. He was able to develop it in box. He's got the skills. He just takes off, leaps over the crease area, stuffs it home. Unbelievable, unprecedented in the field game. First time ever had been done, I can guarantee you that. And watch it develop as it goes behind. Now they'll throw. Zilberti will pull the defense in and give it to Gait, who will have a little bit of a run so he can get some elevation. He comes right over Canaris, absolutely stunned, didn't know what to do. And by the time Canaris reacted, the ball was already in the net. That's got to be one of the most dramatic goals ever in the history of this tournament.
And that is number 66 for Gait, and he goes by Mike French on the all-time major lacrosse scoring list with his 66. Syracuse winning the face-off. Durgel pokes it ahead. Owens corrals on the far side. See if he can keep it in bounds. He lobs it towards the middle of the field. There's a chance. Shot, and just wide as Syracuse bid for the lead. As Thompson shot is wide, and it will be Penn Lawns. 8:48 to play in the half. Here's Gary Gait. Good move, double team. Lost the ball, but will regain it. The Gait brothers were featured in the Sports Illustrated article, and Roy Simmons Sr., the coach at Syracuse for over 40 years, called them the best to ever play the game.
They're only sophomores, too. Their office has written about them and talked about it. They're only sophomores.
Here's Paul Gait. Fakes left, moves right, firing it wide. It'll be Syracuse ball.
That was textbook Paul Gait. He'll come in, make that big move.
This is John Zilberti. Nickname is Z. A bit flamboyant, wears all orange shoes.
They're clearing out for him.
One-on-one, Zilberti firing it, and it hit off the post to the right of Canaris and angled out of bounds.
That was Zilberti against Ed.
Here's Paul Gait moving in again. Double team, feeds it off to brother Gary. To the right of the crease, he shoots it wide, and he stepped into the crease. It'll be Penn ball. 8 minutes left in the half, 2-2 game. Canaris fires it up on the left side as Pennsylvania starts its clear. Here's Chris Flynn. Crossfield lob on the near side to Steven Stoll. Tried to get it back to the middle of the field, and it was picked off by Syracuse, and here come the Orangemen on the fast break. David Patain, a long stick, bump, down he goes, loose ball.
Chris Flynn with a great hit. He's the football player, tremendous athlete, numbers on numbers.
And Flynn comes into the goal area, feeds off. Here's a shot and a goal, and Pennsylvania takes 6.5 to play. Second quarter. Pennsylvania 3, Syracuse 2.
Good aggressive defense, Bill. You saw McCabe 29. They double-teamed the out of bounds. That time, Penn had the number 3 option, and that is the man with the...
Here's the Syracuse clear now. Paul Gait on the far side, beat his man. What a tremendous stick handler Gait is. Feeds in front. Here's a shot and a goal for Jim Egan, and Syracuse ties it at 3. Gait to Zilberti to Egan, and it is a 3-3 game.
That's the way lacrosse should be played, and there's absolutely no way Canaris can stop this. Watch the ball come in. Gait to Zilberti. The defenseman slides across. He has no help, and right there, Egan just drops the ball in for an easy score. Watch it again. No help because the defense has to slide. Once the ball goes to there, the defense slides across, and now that leaves Egan wide open. He knocks in the easy goal as Canaris has to go from the left pipe all the way to the right pipe, and he can't do that as fast as the ball can do it. That's basically the problem. As we look at Jim Egan, Bill, in the first matchup, he was the leading scorer for Syracuse. Penn did a good job of shutting down Zilberti in the Gates. It was Egan that was 4 goals and 2 assists, career highs in the first matchup.
His 19th goal of the year. Here's Chris Flynn quickly back for Penn. Counter-attacking and scoring as Chris Flynn won the face-off and fired it in.
Well, Penn's not backing down. Face-offs are dead even. Actually, Penn has a one face-off advantage with one going to the team. Watch Chris Flynn just take off with this ball. He squirts it out, great speed, picks it up with one hand. Now he comes in, the defense doesn't pick him up. So he cranks the low shot again, all low on Paleb. Paleb down to his knees, couldn't make the save. Penn right back to keep control of the game against Syracuse.
6 seconds after Syracuse ties it at 3, Chris Flynn gives the Quakers a 1-goal lead again at 4-3.
There are the face-off stats right now. Penn 5, Syracuse 4. In the first matchup, pretty even, but Syracuse had the slight edge in the first matchup. Penn knows how important it is for Flynn to have a big day out there for the face-off.
Here's Paul Gait over to Egan. Now Zilberti, quick feed in front. Bruce couldn't handle the pass and somehow got into the cage, and Canaris stopped it. Lob on the outlet pass comes down to Mahoney on the run. Mahoney. Crossfield pass on the left side. Here's Smith. Stouffer cut him off. He feeds it back over onto the near side to teammate Tom Kelly. Stu Fisher.
What they've really been good at doing so far, Bill, I think the biggest factor so far is they kept the Gates boys from controlling the ball in front of the goal.
Fisher with a shot, and Paleb saw it all the way and knocked it down. Has the rebound, and he'll run it up himself. This is the first time we've seen Paleb out of the cage, and he's knocked to the turf, but gets back up, has the ball. And flags are thrown. 6 Syracuse attackers against 5 Pennsylvania defenders in the goaltender. Here's Zilberti, crossfield pass, Gait shooting, and it was blocked in front. Paul Gait will chase it down. Pennsylvania leading here 4-3, and a whistle away from the ball.
Bradcott's faced off, was their best offensive player and was one of their best defensive players, and did it all for that team in Syracuse.
28 seconds left first half. Syracuse down by a goal, but attacking at the left end of the field, and the Orangemen throw it away. Let's see if they can keep it at the attack half, and a fine play by Stouffer to do so. Gary Gait with a nifty move.
We're trying to get Gait the ball up top, and that's what he hasn't been able to do, Bill. I talked about Gary Gait getting the ball way up on top of the...
We have a high stick call on Penn. That's a 1-minute penalty against the Quakers, so Syracuse has the man up with 11 seconds left.
4th opportunity for the Syracuse team. No successes yet.
Here's Zilberti over to Egan. Clock down to 3. Here's a shot and a save made by Canaris. And the first half ends. And Syracuse still with the extra man. Down by a goal, but up by a man here in the opening seconds of the third quarter.
Bill, terrible mistake by Penn. They had possession, and they absolutely threw it away to give Syracuse a chance at the extra man goal. Now they're getting the right personnel in there. Paul Gait comes in to the goalie's left, to the bottom of our screen. There's Gary Gait, 22. Paul, his brother, 19. They're left-hand cannons, and they want to get the shot.
Here's Roos wide open, 20 yards from the cage, moving in. Does not fire it away. Instead, passes to Egan, and they pass it around the cage in a clockwise motion.
Zilberti saying, what's going on?
Gait again. Did he get it in? Yes, he did. Gary Gait has done it again as he scales the net, goes flying through the air. He is becoming the Michael Jordan of lacrosse, going through the air and dunking it in from behind.
Absolutely incredible. You know, this is a guy who is inventing a shot. You're seeing history. Gary Gait is inventing a shot. He's been successful once, which makes it hard to believe that Canaris will let him do it again. He launches himself. Tremendous height on the throw. The goalie goes in there. The ball, it looked very hard to me to tell whether it was inside or out. He couldn't even tell. Let's take another angle. Gary drops it first, gets the defense frozen, and then launches himself up. Now Canaris, slow to react, doesn't knock the ball back. There it goes. Gait gets his second over the back goal. He's inventing a shot. History right here being made by Gary Gait, the unbelievable player from Canada.
On the draw, it is Flynn against Durgel again. Durgel knocks it away, but Flynn able to get it for the Quakers, moving right to left. And here they come. This is Christopher Judy, number 44, the long stick. Crossfield to Steven Stoll. 4-4 game. Here's Lyons of Pennsylvania, backs in. Stripped of the ball. Syracuse possession left to right, and here come the Orangemen. They have not led in this game. It is 4-4 now, and Syracuse has a fast break as Egan fires it. Whistlebirdy in front. A shot just wide by Schluter as he bounced it.
That was a chance for a goal to put him ahead. Schluter got it right where he wanted it on the crease. They clear so well these long sticks. He got the shot and missed the goal. That's the reason Canaris didn't have much to say about this. Watch Zalberti go right back to the crease to the long stick, usually a defenseman, and he misses the 6x6.
His 67th goal of the season, coming 51 seconds into the quarter.
You know, the coaching staff told us yesterday that he was working on that shot in practice this week, though, and Ira was really hesitant to believe that it could be effective. 2 for 2 from behind the goal. Unreal.
Here's Zalberti. Weak pass to Roos is nearly picked off. Roos will chase it down and shovel it back to Zalberti. Egan regains it on the turf behind the cage. 4-4 game, 2 minutes gone by, second half. Here's Gary Gait. Here he comes again. He shoots and scores. What a great play by Gait. He was running to by the defender and knocked him away with that big upper body, and then moved it around Canaris and put Syracuse up 5-4.
This is what makes him so great. He is so physically imposing. He's very strong, along with the skills that he has with his stick work. Watch how McCartney, number 39, doesn't knock him off his wheels. You got to take him down. You can't just bounce off him. Look, he bounces off him. McCartney gets help from Canaris with the great stick work of Gary Gait, puts the ball between the two players. We'll watch it again, and the key being you've got to knock him down if you're going to hit him. McCartney gives him a hit, not enough to knock him down. Canaris comes out the double, but the slick stick work puts the ball between the two players. Gary Gait's taking over as we thought he would. 3 goals today.
68 goals. Next would be 69. Evan Davis of Arizona in 1985 has that record. That's the all-time record. Most of those goals came against club teams. 5-4 Syracuse. Flynn steals that pass from Durgel. But it's picked up by the Orangemen. Paul Gait over to Gary. Feeds in front. They score! Zalberti put it in. And Syracuse is exploding in the opening moments of the third quarter.
Well, Gary Gait set it up beautifully. It was a change-up. He's reinventing every shot you've seen in the history of lacrosse. He's now patented the behind-the-goal shot. Watch this if we get a chance to look at it. It's a change-up. He's got an 80, 90, 100-mile-an-hour shot from the outside. Paul, his brother, picks it up. It looks for Gary to our right. Now watch Gary. He'll fake the shot. And a little change-up, feed inside to Zalberti while the defense sags in for the hard crank shot. And that was what made it successful. Zalberti puts it in. Finally, a 2-goal lead for the high-powered offense. And Zalberti, the monkey off his back as he finally gets one past that great goalie, Canaris.
2 Syracuse goals within 14 seconds has given the Orangemen a 6-4 lead. They've scored the last 3 in the game.
You know, in the first half, there were 7 goals, Bill. All goals were scored by different people. Nobody had 2 goals. Gary Gait starting to take over.
Here he comes again. Gary Gait firing in front, gets it back, winds up, he shoots, he was stopped by Canaris.
Sensational stop by Canaris. He didn't fight for the second and third fake. He stood his ground. Gary Gait dumped it right into his knee area.
Into the goal area, Peter Smith takes a shot. Taylor makes the save. Rebound. Stoker of Syracuse corrals it out to McNamara. Syracuse on the run. Here's a pass up the midfield to Greg Burns. Crossfield to Zalberti. On the left, Jim Egan moves in, makes his move. He shoots and scores. And Syracuse leads it.
The transition. This is what they didn't do because of Penn's great tempo saver in the first half. Now the tempo is moving back to Syracuse. They are running, excuse me, they are gunning, and that's what they do most beautifully and successfully throughout this league. Nobody can stop the talent in the Syracuse team if they run and gun.
Syracuse has scored 4 times in the quarter to take a 7-4 lead. Here's Owens again for the Orangemen into the goal area, over to Egan. Down low to Zalberti, return feed in front, comes right in front of the cage, and it's picked up by the Quakers. They throw it away. goal. Zilberti, he scores! And Syracuse leads it 8-4.
Well, Penn turned it away the first time. Zilberti was trying to find Gary Gait. There are the two of them right now. They're talking about that exact play because they tried to feed it across the face of the goal to Gary. The ball went back out front. Watch, he tries to find Gary. Knocked back by Canaris. Gary's on your left. The ball goes out front. It'll be picked off by Syracuse. Durgel comes back, finds Zilberti again. Zilberti, little shot against the unsettled Canaris, and when the goalie's unsettled, a much more of an opportunity for the offense to get the goal. Syracuse is really on a run. That's pretty much the trademark of this team, Bill. They can run off 9-10 goals without much effort.
2 by Gait, 2 by Zilberti, 1 by Egan in 4 minutes and 51 seconds. Again. Here we go again. Gary Gait moves in for the Orangemen, winds up, shoots it wide, and you can see how he shoots on the dead run lead with authority.
That's where coaches really fear this guy.
Owens lobs it across to the midfield area. Peter Allen on the near side, number 15. This is the second Syracuse midfield. Here's a shot taken, and Burns is stopped by the Pennsylvania goaltender John Canaris, who played brilliantly in the first half, but here in this third quarter has seen 5 goals go by. The high school league, which has put out a number of fine lacrosse players collegiately.
No question about it. It's a hotbed for talent. Coaches from all over the country come up here to get some of the best players in the high school game.
Syracuse on the attack once again. Here's Owens, wide open. Rang it off the pipe to the right of the goaltender. Behind the cage, Zilberti once again. That's the 3rd time today the Syracuse shooters have rung it off the pipes.
Zilberti now much more settled with his game, and he's the controlling factor. You see, it all starts back there with him. Look at the offense settle down, and if you give anybody on the offensive end of the field a break, a crack to get open, Zilberti will find him.
Gary Gait back to the cage. Over to Egan. Now Owens winds up and shoots it wide. You know, when Gary Gait has his back to the
turf. Now watch Gary. He's behind the goal with his ball. Let's watch the shot from behind the crease.
Oh, he feeds in front, and Zilberti has stopped it. Hit the leg of the defenseman. Sailed out of bounds. Zilberti went behind the head and shot it right off of Paul Kunkel. 1 for 4, that's a 25% efficiency rate, which is a little bit low. The average is like 33%. That's what you shoot for. 6 attackers, 5 defenders. Pennsylvania with the extra man. Smith, Doherty, Fisher, Greco, and 40. Here's the shot, and a great save by Caleb, right in front. No goal. Went in, no goal.
In the crease, they're calling in the crease, I believe, on Penn. Ball. Syracuse starting the offensive machine here in the second half.
Of course, a couple of other good goaltenders, Peter Sheehan, John Schmoller, we'll see tomorrow on ESPN in the other semifinal game.
And those 2 goalies were the whole story for Cornell and Virginia to get into that game tomorrow, so we will focus on them.
Here's Scaramuzzino, Syracuse, a long stick midfielder. He's pretty good with the long stick.
All these guys are good with the long stick. It's amazing what they can do, and they're very feared. They come down now with the clear, and years ago, like 6 years ago, you wouldn't get it. The defensemen coming in to play offense. Now they clear the ball, they keep going to the net because they can get the ball back and shoot.
Gary Gait behind the cage. He's scored twice here today, actually 3 times today.
And how do you play him now behind the cage? He has really got them thinking differently now that he's launched himself over the top of the cage twice. A lot of mind games going on if you're playing Gary Gait. What the heck do you do to stop him?
Number 1 is Keith Owens, a senior midfielder. In front to Allen, and his shot was deflected wide. I believe Canaris got a piece. Syracuse up by 4. Gary Gait with the ball. Look at that. Look at Gary Gait, and he almost got that shot off.
Canaris came out to double him. There was an open goal for Gary, but he just couldn't get the shot.
Here he is again, and he tried to jump over the net. This time he just landed on it. That's a crease violation. And Pennsylvania possession. Do you believe?
He's a little mad. The greatest thing about that shot is that it's neat when it works. But the best thing for Penn is, now look at the ability of Gary Gait. The double team by the goalie. Look, there's no goalie. That's a defenseman in there. They kept him from getting the good shot. That's a very effective play. Now here he goes with a launch from behind the crease area. This is what he's been successful in 2 out of 2 times. This time he won't. I suggest that now Penn has seen it a couple of times. It'll be very tough for him to score with that move. And what it does against Syracuse is that it gives the ball back to Penn. They don't maintain possession like a shot from the outside would.
I think they're Canada. Gait broke his record.
They're going to break a lot of records. It's hard to believe they're only sophomores, Bill, and they're doing just a wonderful job.
Here's Sean Doherty moving in for Pennsylvania into the goal area. Winds up. He shoots. He scores. Sean Doherty fires it in by Palem, and it is an 8-5 game as Doherty gets his second goal of the game.
Doherty with 21 goals on the season coming into this game. Look at the nice move to get past the defense. He waits till the sliding defender comes over.
The Orangemen pick it up. Here's Syracuse on the run once again. Paul Gait winds up. He shoots on the run, and Canaris had it easily and made the save. Here's the outlet pass, and it's nearly thrown away, but Flynn regains it and makes a fine move, and Flynn has the ball in open field. Here's Chris Flynn, Pennsylvania. Return in front, shot, goal! It was Sean Doherty again, and he has his third goal of the game, and Chris Flynn, after making that pass, is down on the field. Flynn made the play, and you see him down right now. He made a fine play, but the Pennsylvania team could not afford to lose their top player.
Hopefully it's a win situation where he was knocked down, got the wind knocked out, but he's the player for this team. There it is. It was definitely a hit that took the wind out of him. But look at Doherty in there. Makes a nice fake high, gets Palem to commit high, and when he's off his feet, he just
prepares to knee down and square off against Durgel, and I would imagine if Syracuse has a quick strike play off a face-off, this is when you put it in.
Well, I wouldn't bet this guy is too much worse than Chris Flynn. Chris Flynn's going to get the ball, not to demean him. He's tremendous, but the secret to Penn is that they don't give it to you quick. They fight you for it. They'll keep it on the ground like they are right here, and it'll be 3 players fighting for the ball. So it's tough to get that quick shot against this Penn.
Syracuse wins it on possession, dumps it into the attack, half of the field with open field. Fires it across to Owens. Now to Paul Gait. 8-6 to score, 3 minutes left, third quarter. Jimmy behind the cage for the attacking Orangemen.
Crowd was oohing a little bit as Peter Allen walked in there with no defense against him. Could have gotten the ball, had an open shot.
Tony Seaman is a tremendous defensive coach, probably the best around. He's had quite a challenge here today. Here's Gilberti, feeds in front, and Canaris stopped that shot. Peter Allen shoveled it towards the net, sort of a change-up, and Canaris kicked it out.
You know, Bill, I'm not so sure. I'm not convinced yet that Syracuse is out of the woods because Gary Gait, even though he's controlled it in the third quarter, he hasn't done what he's done all year.
There's a goal for Syracuse.
Greg Burns puts that one in on a nice cutting play. Bounce shot past Canaris, and that's just textbook lacrosse. You cut across the crease, the feeder gives you the ball, and a redirection is pretty hard to stop if you're the goalie. Now watch how it sets up behind to Gilberti. Gilberti will look to the crease. Here's the crease cutting. Comes right down there. Greg Burns makes a cut past the defense.
2:05 to play, third quarter. Here's Flynn.
Take away that 3-minute run where Syracuse got the 5 goals and Penn was unsettled.
Flynn with a shot. He scores. He banked it in right off the turf, up high over the right shoulder of Palem, and that's a goal that you don't like to see scored against your team because it was a wide open shot, and playing on your home turf, it's not going to take a funny bounce, and I think Palem might have misjudged it there. It went right in over his shoulder.
Well, Palem again having just a very so-so day, or maybe worse. He's made one big save, but look at this. He goes down to his knees. He looks unsettled. It was Bill Durgel right there, 73% effectiveness.
He's hot. John Desko, the Syracuse assistant coach, says, have a seat. 1:55 to play. It's a 9-7 game. The Penn Quakers have come up from Philadelphia.
And Tony, to reiterate a point we talked about earlier, he said his team, he thought the difference in the first game was more than anything else the fact that his team just didn't hit the goal. They had plenty of shots, but they just weren't accurate. Today, they're plenty accurate, and they've tested Palem, and Palem has come out in the short end.
Here's a chance in front. Oh, and a tremendous shot by Lyons goes wide. Penn has it behind the cage, and Greco. Greco looks for a man in front. Here he is. Peters Smith against Stouffer. Shot. And that was stopped in front easily by Palem on Lyons. Greco behind the cage, double team. Palem runs him over. No goalie now. Pennsylvania has the ball, but they throw it away. Scaramazino of Syracuse. Number 23. Over to Schluter, who's knocked down. He gets back up and has the ball. 56 seconds left, third quarter, 9-7. Syracuse leads. Egan into the goal area. Over to Greg Burns, who has scored the Syracuse 9th goal. Burns moving in, eyeing that cage. Syracuse brings the Gait brothers in on this change here. 40 seconds left in the quarter. And And now Paul Gait has it. Number 3 running into the bottom of the screen there is Roos, the other first-team midfielder.
This midfield is made up of 2 current All-Americans, and Roos was an All-American at Rutgers. So pretty high-powered offensive unit on that midfield.
The time in the corner is for the 3rd quarter. Syracuse leading 9-7. Here's Brooke Chase. Time running down. Burns shooting, and Canaris made the save with 5 seconds left. It's 13 seconds to play, regulation time. And it's tied at the end of the 4th quarter. We'll go to a 4-minute sudden death overtime period. They'll continue to play overtimes until someone scores. Each period would be 4 minutes. Here's a chance now for the Quakers. Moving in, Kelly feeds in front. They score! Conforte scores. It is 9-8.
What a nice job Penn did. Team like Syracuse, overall the character of the Syracuse team is roll the ball out, let the guys get it and go. They're a run and gun, instinctive kind of team. Penn is a very cerebral. They do things in a structured way, and they have won the tempo battle today.
Here's Chris Flynn off the face-off, feeding in front. Shot, score! It is tied 9-9 as Peter Smith tallies it by Palem, and the Quakers have battled back to even it up.
I think it was Stu Fisher up in front of the goal. And what a tremendous job as you see the crowd. Penn has a lot of fans down here. Simmons a little confused now, but very confident because he has the big guns on his team. But Penn is doing everything perfectly, moving the ball, making 2 or 3 passes. This is what's great about lacrosse. You make 2 or 3 passes, chances are you're going to get the good shot in the goal. They come down, make the 3 passes on the fast break, get the defense to overcommit, and beat a very confused Palem, who has had shots right in his face most of the game.
You're right, it was Fisher that got it. The assist goes to Smith. And we're tied 9-9 with 9:39 to play.
You know, when a team like Penn controls the tempo, that's what they do. They sort of change your mindset. They've got Gary Gait thinking about doing other things, like jumping over the goal from behind and not taking that cannon shot up front.
Here's Burns. Fired it behind the cage to Jim Egan. Back in front, shot, and a great save there on Peter Allen as Canaris just robbed him.
Well, you're seeing the game of his life out of Canaris. Right out front, this has got to be a goal for Syracuse. No, Canaris stands his ground, cuts the angle down slightly, and goes right up to take it away from Syracuse. He's had to have done that 5 times today. 21 saves, you see the graphic. He's playing above his head, a tremendous athlete who's having the game of his life today for this coach, Tony Seaman of Penn. Say a little bit of apprehension in the crowd here at Syracuse, Bill. They're not used to seeing this team tied in the 4th quarter. I'll bet you this is the first time all year it's happened.
Here's Lyons beating his man, and Paling turned him aside with a fine save. They did have one close game. North Carolina played them to an overtime game here, and Syracuse won. Here's a chance in front for the Quakers once again as Lyons shoots, and that was deflected off of Stouffer, the close defenseman. And Syracuse counterattacks. In the offensive half of the field, here is Brooke Chase. The Orangemen are without their leading attack man, Zilberti, and Chase bounces it wide. He is in there in place of Zilberti. Here's Mike Kelly, a junior midfielder out of Stony Brook, New York. Kelly. 2 Mike Kelly and 10 Tom Kelly, brothers out there. Clock down to 6:21. Here's Peter Smith, number 9, guarded by Stouffer.
Again, you see Penn spreading the defense. Syracuse is so aggressive. They are best when they are aggressive and helping each other with hard slides out in that very area. But look how far Penn is out. Penn has spread that defense so that they can't help each other.
Fisher moving in against Roos and beat him. Zilberti, by the way, has just returned to the field for Syracuse at the other end. There he is. Zilberti back at the other end, but right now Pennsylvania has the ball and an opportunity in front. A shot on the goal, and the Quakers take the lead 10-9 with 5:49 to play.
Huge upset in the making. The crowd absolutely on their feet. Here they go. Penn has a great following. Let's take a look. They're moving the ball beautifully inside. Same formula here. Look how they spread the defense. Then they make 2 passes, come in, look for help, and reel
the game.
We'll have to watch Zilberti to see if that leg cramps up on him again. You know, those cramps don't go away in 5 minutes. It'll probably happen again to him if he pushes it.
Paul Gait behind the head to Gary, and he zinged it wide.
That's the shot that made this man what he is, and that's what we haven't seen today. That cannon shot out front. Now,
11 Zilberti is back into the game along with Jim Egan and Greg Burns on the Syracuse attack. Here is Zilberti behind the cage in the Chuck Taylor orange high tops. Now Gary Gait, guarded one-on-one by Mahoney. Clock down to 5:05 to play regulation time. 10-9, Pennsylvania on top. Their first lead since halftime. Gait on the wing on the right.
You know, for the first time all year, or for the first time in a long time, this Syracuse team has a few doubts, and that can really play tricks on a player's mind.
Behind the head, Gait shooting, blocked in front, never did get to the cage. Twice now, Paul Gait has gone behind his head to brother Gary. This time the ball is shoveled out of bounds, and it'll be Syracuse possession. And they have a 10-9 lead with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to play. Syracuse attack man Jim Egan on the near side, number 9, over to Gary Gait. Drop the ball, picks it back up. Very strong upper body on the Gait brothers. A good defensive job all day long by the Quakers. This pass heads back towards midfield. It's kicked back into the attack half by Syracuse. Mahoney sidesteps Gait. Fine play by Tim Mahoney. But then they throw it away, and Syracuse has another chance with 3:52 to play. Under 4 minutes to play, Pennsylvania leading by a goal. Egan on the near side. Now Zilberti, guarded by McCartney. They cleared out for Zilberti earlier, but again, when he missed some time with a leg injury, you wondered if they would do it again, Lee.
Speaking of clearing out, I think you're going to see one here. They're rolling Gary up top, giving him a little bit of room. He'll go one-on-one, try to get a shot.
There it is. Gait against Mahoney. See if he can beat it. Nope. Fires it over to
I wonder if something's wrong with him. He really looks to be a little sluggish, a little tired. I don't quite understand it.
3 minutes to play. Here's Zilberti, comes out in front and scores. Tie game, 10-10. As John Zilberti has evened this game up with 2 minutes and 59 seconds to play, and he has brought this big crowd inside the Carrier Dome to its feet. 10-10.
Well, Zilberti's the quarterback. We talked about the effect of him not being here. Here's what he means to the team. Watch the fake. He'll look low, fake, and then go high after Canaris commits. Tremendous play by Zilberti, and only a senior with the experience that he has could have that kind of a move. He knows Canaris is playing a great game high, so he has to make him commit. He looks low, fakes, gets Canaris on his knees, and then jumps up to make the play, sacrificing his body with the hit.
Big day for Zilberti. 5 points, and he missed a good 10 minutes with the leg injury. Face off. Loose. Gary Gait comes away with it. Into the goal area. Over to brother Paul. Shooting it wide. You know, Paul Gait caught in that pass with one hand. He had to switch hands with his stick to go up and get it. Made a fine play. Number 19, Paul Gait. He's picked up by Jim McNamara. Orangemen on the run. Phil Schluter, 1:52 to play in a tie game. Schluter cross field to Egan, moving in with his back to the cage.
A bad move by Fisher to take that shot.
Here's Egan to Zilberti, winds up, shoots, and the save is made in front, and then Zilberti stepped in the crease. Canaris made the save, and now Zilberti pushes him in the face. John Lyons moving in. He's guarded over there closely by Dave Patain. Schluter knocks the ball away from Flynn. Flynn regains it. They double teamed him. There's an open man. Clock at 50.
Penn very tentative, not handling the ball, and here comes Syracuse.
Here's Schluter into the attack half of the field in an even game. Over to Gary Gait, has his man beat into the goal area, winds it up and takes it behind the cage. Out in front to Zilberti. Moves in, shooting, and Canaris made the save to keep Penn alive. It went out of bounds. It'll be Penn ball. The Quakers will get it back. Fine play by Ed McMahon to be on the line. Zilberti put it right where he wanted, but Canaris said no.
We got a penalty flag on the field, but let's take a look at Zilberti. He did a sensational job getting open, but again, the high shot is taking its toll.
Offsides called on Pennsylvania will give Syracuse possession with 30 seconds left.
That's a big call. 30 seconds left. You got to know the possession's critical. And Zilberti, again, getting in good position. Roy Simmons is calling a timeout. And Syracuse will regroup their offense. But
if not, you've been open on the sneak. When you come around the sneak, you saved your high. But one time it did work with fake low and shot high. All right? So then you come around, pump it, and then go to the lower corner. All right? Now listen.
That's great. Desco talking about Zilberti's fake that was effective. He's telling him to work the head game.
If you don't get it, it's overtime.
They're going to hold for the last shot, Leaf. They're not going to let Pennsylvania get another shot here. The Orangemen are going to hold for the last shot and try to let Zilberti sneak around from behind.
Bill, the quick point I was going to make was if I was coaching the team, I would give Gary Gait the shot from up top with Paul. The benefit of that is that rocket shot that goes high. If you don't score, you've got a guy, Zilberti, behind backing up the goal, and you maintain possession. Today, they've been working inside, and if they don't get the goal, they've lost it to Penn. Let's see what they do right here.
Let's see what Zilberti can do. Game is tied at 10.
We'll go back to Zilberti, and he'll start the offense.
Jim Egan out to Gary Gait. Clock at 15.
That's the shot I take right there.
Gait dropped it. Now they'll have to ad-lib something as the clock winds down. Here's Paul Gait shooting. He scores with 3 seconds left. Paul Gait scores. And the Orangemen of Syracuse have taken an 11-10 lead over the Penn Quakers as the kid from British Columbia fired it by Canaris, and Syracuse is on its way to the national finals as they score with 3 seconds left.
Penn players down on their knees. They can't believe it. They've given it everything they have. But right now, the Gates were just too much for this Penn team. Tony Seaman, knowing there's 3 seconds left, hoping for a miracle, getting his players off, saying, get your heads back into the game. We've got 3 seconds. He needs a miracle, but I think the miracle has a last name of Gait. And here is the way it's set up. Gary back to Paul. Paul looks to the clock. He sees there's not much time. He comes in, beats 2 players, and gets it by Canaris, who has had the game of his life.
Clock will run down, and there it is. Syracuse University has advanced to the national finals with a stunning victory, 11-10.